welcome to Juice Nothing's overhyped album review of the week. I am Jared Woods, and I skim music so you don't have to. Today I'm talking about Foo Fighters' new album, Sonic Highways. Look, it's on a stick. Obviously the core of Foo Fighters is Dave Grohl, who rose to claim to fame by being the drummer for the biggest band of the 90s, Nirvana. Speaking of drums, did you know that I'm a drummer? Except I use my mouth. Obviously, Nirvana ended when Kurt killed himself in 1994, or did he? Wasting no time, Dave Grohl formed Foo Fighters the exact same year, and they've pretty much gone on to be, once again, the biggest band in the world. To the point that younger generations, actually, probably don't even see the connection between Foo Fighters and Nirvana. They think Nirvana is just a t-shirt company, and you just weren't there, man, you weren't there. Although I am wearing a Nirvana hoodie. Foo Fighters have gone on to be awarded 11 Grammys, 4 of which were the Best Rock Album of the Year Grammys, which is pretty impressive. They've also won 4 NMEs, 3 Kerangs, and they've sold 11.1 million copies to date, so, you know, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. That said, personally, with me and Foo Fighters, is I just don't really seem to like them as much as everyone else does. What? Don't get me wrong, I thought 1995's self-titled debut was really good, but it just felt like each album kind of slowly but surely went a bit downhill. There are exceptions though. Walking After You, the acoustic version that was appeared in the X-Files soundtrack in 1998. That is an amazing song. That is a really good song. It's emotional, man. It gets me. But then in 2011 they released Wasting Light, and that to me was a really good album, actually. Very, very rough and raw. It's a lot harder, and that made me excited again. I'm like, oh my god, no, this is a step in the right direction. And then that's why when Sonic Highways was announced, I was like, alright, let's do this, man. Let's keep going down this hard road, Dave. So Sonic Highways, it came out on the 10th of November, which is just the other day. And for those of you who don't know, it's a really good concept. 8 songs, each one recorded in a different city in the US. Austin, Chicago, Los Angeles, Nashville, New York, New Orleans, Seattle, and Washington, D.C. And the artwork's really cool, really reflects this nicely. I like it. It's all very, you know, patriotic or whatever. But the music itself, I mean, is kind of critically been kind of lukewarm reviews. I mean, you're looking at 5.6 from Pitchfork, C from Consequence of Sound, 3.5 from The Guardian, and of course, 7 out of 10 from NME. Of course, NME. I mean, I would love to know, what does Dave Grohl's dick taste like, NME? All of which equals a 67 on Metacritic, which is pretty good. But for me, I was just a bit meh when I listened to the record. It was very typical Foo Fighters, very generic, way too familiar. It just seems to me that Foo Fighters always play it safe and follow a very much a Foo Fighters formula, or a fumula. It's kind of like, it's not bad, and it works, but it's not, that's about all it really is to me. But it's not all bad, I must say. 3 things I'll say that are in this record's defense. Number 1, the production is no joke. That's some really good production by Butch Vig. He's the guy who did Nevermind. It's great when they work together, and I was impressed with just the overall. Number 2, Feast and the Famine is one of the best Foo Fighters songs I've ever heard. Amen! Was the Feast and the Famine! And 3, what I found most impressive about this album is that it's very rare that an album with only 8 songs can bore the fucking shit out of me. I'd like to ask my guest, Colin, for his review. So Colin, would you please tell the viewers what you thought of Foo Fighters' Sonic Highways? I've no idea what you said. Is that even fucking English? So, all in all, I'm gonna give this album a 5.333, recurring 3. We would call it 5.5, which is basically to say that So tell me, all you Foo Fighters lovers, tell me how wrong I am. Please comment on this video, and I will reply. As well, if you could subscribe, just subscribe. And yeah, remember that music is subjective, and I reserve the right to change my mind at any time.